Hello everyone, my name is Aastha and I welcome you all to our classes for International English Olympiad for class 7th. This is our last class, which is the sample paper, the 23rd class which we will be doing. Herein I will be giving you a few guidelines and then moving on to solving the sample paper. So make sure you solve the paper, and before that make sure you have revised all these concepts, otherwise it won't be really a sort of a test, right? So make sure you revise them and give it like your final exam. So let's get started.
Now, first of all, before starting, I would like to give you a few tips on how to manage your time during the exam. Now, if you remember these tips, then they would definitely help you somewhat in the exam. All right. The first important thing is to read the entire question paper carefully. Now, in so many questions, like especially those of tenses and those of, say, antonyms or synonyms, now many questions, if you don't read them carefully, even the reading comprehensions, if you don't read them carefully, then it's very likely that you will answer them incorrectly. It's very important to read it very carefully. All right. Then the second thing is to allocate enough time for each question as per their marks. Now, the HOTS questions. The HOTS questions, the last 5 questions of the Achievers section, they are very important because they carry double the marks. So it is important that you leave sufficient time for the Achievers section questions. And sometimes it is also preferable that you attempt those Achievers section questions first. क्योंकि अगर आप उन्हें पहले अटेम्प्ट कर लोगे तो आपका दिमाग उस टाइम फ्रेश है, राइट? तो आपने पहले वो 5 क्वेश्चंस अटेम्प्ट कर लिए, सो यू आर क्लियर ऑन द फैक्ट दैट कि आपको चलो 5 जो डबल मार्क्स वाले क्वेश्चंस हैं वो सही हो गए. ऑलराइट, सो allocate enough time for each question as per their marks. Now, next, it is also important to leave sufficient time in the end to revise the paper. कि कहीं आपने कोई क्वेश्चन छोड़ तो नहीं दिया है, कहीं कोई क्वेश्चन स्किप तो नहीं हो गया है, या फिर कहीं बाय चांस सपोज यू सी आपने देखा कि हाँ इसका आंसर तो सी है, पर आपने OMR शीट में उसका आंसर बी मार्क कर दिया. So for all these things, it is very important to revise the paper in the end. All right. Alright, so the next point is, don't be afraid to guess. No negative marking. Now, as I have told you time and again that it is very important for you to attempt all the questions. Why? Because there is no negative marking. Suppose you don't know the exact correct answer to a question, but आप guess कर पा रहे हो कि शायद इसका ये होगा, तो it is very important कि आप उसे mark कर दो. जो भी आप guess कर पा रहे हो आप उसे mark कर दो, because there are chances कि वो सही हो सकता है. और अगर आप उसे छोड़ आओगे, अगर आप उसे skip कर दोगे तो कोई भी scope नहीं है ना आपको marks मिलने का. Right? So don't be afraid to guess. The next question, next point, you can always come back to some questions in the end. Which means अगर कोई question आपको difficult लग रहा है या आपको लग रहा है I need more time to figure this out, so you can always mark it and come back to it in the end. So you can keep a provision like this as well. Then, as I told you, if you finish early, revise the paper. And even if you don't, it is very important आप practice ही ऐसे करो कि आप paper time से पहले खत्म कर पाओ. That's why I've kept timers for you. कि आप timer के हिसाब से answer करोगे तो definitely you will be able to finish early and then revise the paper. And then it is very important to mark properly on the OMR sheet. अगर suppose जैसे मैंने आपको अभी बताया, आपने देखा आंसर तो B है, पर आपने गलती से C मार्क कर दिया, तो आपका तो आंसर गलत हो गया ना. आपको पता है फिर भी आपने गलत मार्क कर दिया, तो इसको मार्क्स नहीं मिलेंगे. So very important to mark properly. और OMR शीट पे भी use this HB black pencil, उसमें ना बॉक्स को जो सर्कल है to fill it completely properly. Alright, so you have to take care of these instructions. Now let's move on. Now we are going to start with the final quiz. Alright, now brace yourselves, bring in your pen and paper, and we will be starting with our final quiz. Let's start. Now for every question you will be given 1 minute. 1 minute, 60 seconds you will be given as per the timer. Now why am I giving you 60 seconds? Because for every IEO question you are given more than 60 seconds in the final exam. तो मैंने सेफ साइड पे आपको 1 मिनट दिया है. अब इसमें दो कैटेगरी ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स होंगे. वन कैटेगरी जो लेस देन 1 मिनट में अपने क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर लेते हैं. तो जब ये कर लेते हैं तो यू शुड तो अगर आपने जल्दी क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर लिया तो आप फास्ट फॉरवर्ड करके आप आंसर देख लीजिए. पर वो कैटेगरी जो स्टूडेंट्स ये 1 मिनट में आंसर नहीं दे पाते हैं, तो आपको डिसहार्टन नहीं होना है, दुखी नहीं होना है. आप पॉज करें और पहले अपना आंसर दें. जो भी आंसर आपको लग रहा है सही है वो आप आंसर लिखें, उसके बाद ही आप आंसर देखें. ये यू शुड मेक श्योर कि आप कोई भी क्वेश्चन स्किप ना करें, आप सबके आंसर दें, चाहे वो सही हो या गलत, वो सेकेंडरी चीज है. मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट इज कि आप पहले आंसर दें. ओके, so and for every correct answer you give yourself 10 points, and for every incorrect answer no points. Why no points? Because IEO में there is no negative marking. आपका आंसर चाहे गलत हो या फिर आपने आंसर नहीं किया हो तो आपको 0 ही मिलेगा. ओके, सो इट इज बेटर कि सपोज अगर आप किसी क्वेश्चन में कंफ्यूजन है कि इसका आंसर क्या होगा, नहीं समझ आ रहा, तो आपने उसे छोड़ना नहीं है, आपने उसको आंसर करना है. और चाहे आपको लग रहा हो कि ये शायद ये आंसर सही हो सकता है बी या सी से, तो आप उसे पक्का पॉइंट आउट करके आओ, मतलब उसे OMR शीट पे मार्क करके आओ, बिकॉज देयर आर चांसेस कि वो आपका आंसर सही हो जाए. ऑलराइट, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट. Alright, so now we start with the first section, which is word and structure knowledge. And as this one says, each question in Achievers section carries 3 marks, whereas all other questions, they carry 1 mark each. Alright, so let's start off with the first section. Okay, so here it says for questions 1 to 24, choose the correct option to fill in the blank. Like here we give an example. I got here at 1 and now it's 2:15, so I've dashed here for over an hour. Like this. So we have the option and then you choose one. The similar way we have been doing so far. So here let's see, we have been off, on and dash for the past month, which has been great fun. Adventure, adventured, adventurous or adventuring. Here the correct answer is A. Noun, adventure. We have been off on an adventure for the past month, which has been great fun. Alright. You see the other options. Like here, adventured. Now if we take adventure to be a verb, then adventured. Okay, they adventured around somewhere, like this could be their past tense. Adventurous is an adjective. Adventuring again is an, if we use adventure as the verb, so the ing form, right? Okay, so here we have, to complete the task, you need dash the tools, not just a few. You need most the tools, some the tools, any the tools, all the tools, not just a few. So here the correct answer is D. To complete the task, you need all the tools, not just a few. Okay, because we're talking, because here you see it's saying not just a few, which means here we have a contrast, and that is all. So all the tools, not just a few. Okay. Okay, so here we have, the elephants were dash the village when they came through the forest. Were avoid the village, avoidable the village, avoiding the village, or avoided the village. So the elephants were avoiding the village when they came through the forest. So here we have were. Okay, we're using a past continuous tense. So elephants were avoiding. All right. If you see others, avoid is the infinitive form, avoidable is an adjective, avoided is the past form. Okay, next we have, I dashed since I was about 5 years old. Have been played, have been playing, played, was playing. The correct answer is B. I have been playing since I was about 5 years old. Alright. Why? Because here you see, since I was about 5 years old, and this action is also continuing. It's like a permanent action that has been happening. So, present perfect continuous. You see, others have been played. This is I have been played. This is incorrect. See, played past tense, was playing past continuous. Alright, here we have the cat is always left dash when we are away. Left about, left roundabout, left right on, or left indoors. Here this one's pretty easy. The correct answer is obviously the cat is left indoors. Okay, when we are away. Pretty easy. All the other options just to mess with you, just to trick you. Okay, here you don't need to be particularly dash for this task, but it might help. Particularly intelligent, intelligence, intelligently, or intelligentsia. Here the correct answer is A. You don't need to be particularly intelligent for this task, but it might help. Intelligent is an adjective that we are talking about. Right, and the others, if you see, intelligence. Intelligence is a noun, an abstract noun. Okay, intelligently is an adverb, like adverb of manner. How do you do something? You do it intelligently. Adverb of manner answering the question of how. Then we have intelligentsia. Intelligentsia actually is a noun again, which is referred to a group of people, which is these educated people who are engaged in these tasks of in various we can say complex mental labors. Okay, that's again a noun. Alright, next. The house is dash the rear dash the new school. The house is to the rear of the new school. The house is on the rear with the new school. The house is at the rear alone the new school, or the house is next to the rear in the new school. Here the correct answer is A. The house is to the rear of the new school. So to the rear, which means it is at the side of, and of the new school, which means we're showing the belongingness to what? Belongingness to the new school. Alright, so to and of. Okay, next up we have the match will be excellent dash we all play well. And we all play well, so we all play well, if we all play well, but we all play well. Pretty easy. The answer is C, if we all play well. Because this is a condition, the match will be excellent when? If we all play well. Alright. Others you see and is used to coordinate two parts, so is used for a certain reason, but is used for contrasting statements. Okay. Okay, now the next sentence says, we have never been to Spain, dash we. Here we have to form a question tag. So how do we form a question tag? First, we see the statement and see whether it is positive or negative. Here you see we have never been to Spain. So this is a negative statement. Why negative? Because negative adverb never. So it is a negative statement. So the question tag will be positive. Okay, it will be a positive question tag first of all. Second thing is the subject. Subject is we. Here also we. So this is correct. Then we look at the verb and the verb also has to be the same. Here we have. What are the auxiliary verb we are using? We have. So again we use have here. So the answer is B. We've never been to Spain, have we? Okay, here you surely don't need all this paper, do you? Dash Frank. So here either yelled Frank, said Frank, told Frank, asked Frank. Here the correct answer, very easy, since you see a question mark here, the answer is D, asked Frank. Okay, yelled would have been there if there would have been an exclamation, said, regular statement, told when they're talking to somebody else. Here, do you know dash the bus runs on Sunday? How many the bus, which the bus, how often the bus, or what the bus? Again, pretty easy. Do you know how often the bus runs on Sunday? Because here we're talking about a certain frequency. Others, you see how many it is used for countable nouns, which is used for a choice, what is used for asking for a specific person. Sorry, a specific thing or an object. Okay, here when the door isn't open, you dash be able to go in the room. You can't be able to, you won't be able to, you mustn't be able to, or you haven't been able to. Here the correct answer is D, won't. This is sort of a prediction, we can say. Okay, that when the door isn't open, and also talking about a certain condition also, like when the door isn't open, what will happen? You will not be able to go in the room. Okay, so the answer is B, won't. Okay, next. My teacher dash arrived last year likes to ride his mountain bike. Who is arrived last year? Whom arrived last year? Who's arrived last year? Or Who arrived last year? Here the correct answer is D. Who arrived last year? Now, who is used for a person, but when we are using that person as a subject. So here, who are we referring to? The teacher, this teacher, and it is the subject of the sentence. So, who? Another, you see, who is, it is used to ask a question, like we complete it here, but here we don't need the auxiliary verb is. Then we have whom. Whom is again used for a person, but when we are referring to that person as the object in the sentence. Then we have whose. Whose is used to refer when we're talking about any ownership or belongingness. Okay, next, the painting could be from dash European country, but I don't know which, or perhaps dash USA. Okay, the painting could be from dash European country. So, European country, we are talking about a European country in general. Alright, so let's see which article are we going to use, indefinite. And for the indefinite article, we have options A and an. Now, since we are referring to European, European starts with a verb, so starts with a consonant sound, so we'll be using a. So a European country, but I don't know which, or perhaps dash USA. Now USA is a country. We don't usually use any article in front of countries, but here this is plural. USA stands for United States of America. So for these countries like the Philippines and here also the United States of America. So we use the article the. So the correct answer here is A. And the. The painting could be from a European country, but I don't know which, or perhaps the United States of America. Alright, here, after dash for miles, they all stopped and set up camp. After had walked for miles, after walked for miles, after walking for miles, or after were walking for miles. So here the correct answer is C, after walking for miles. So what was the action that was continuously happening? That they were walking for miles. Alright, this was a continuous action and it was interrupted by them, all of them stopping and setting up camp. So that's why we use continuous tense. Okay, here the groundsman never see eye to dash about the state of wicket. Eye to ball, eye to eye to hand, or the eye to mouth. So here pretty easy, the correct answer is eye to eye. Now eye to eye is a phrase which means agreeing with something. If you see eye to eye with someone on a certain matter, it means you agree with that person. So here when we say the groundsmen never see eye to eye about the state of wicket, which means they don't really agree with each other on this about the state of wicket. All right. It didn't at any point dash to us that we had left the iron on. It didn't at any point dawn, it didn't at any point think, it didn't at any point mind, or it didn't at any point occur. Here the correct answer is it didn't at any point occur to us. When we talk about sentences like this, कि मेरे दिमाग में नहीं आया, like it did not occur to me. So that's when we use dawn. I'm so sorry. That's when we use occur. So it didn't at any point occur to us that we had left the iron on. हमें याद ही नहीं आया. It didn't cross our mind. Okay. Other words like dawn. When we say it dawned upon me, then we say it when we mean that we finally realized. When you hit a realization, then you say dawn. Think is self-explanatory. I'm pretty sure you think, and mind, I'm pretty sure you know their meanings. This equation should be easy to work dash if you know the basics. This equation should be easy to work out, work over, work into, or work about. Here the correct answer is A, work out. Work out here, this equation should be easy to work out. In this reference, the phrasal verb work out means to solve. Alright. Otherwise, usually work out is referred to that physical activity that we do. Working out and all that. Okay. Here we have the games master dash more time on the pitch if he could have. Is going to take, may have been taken, or would have taken, or must be taking. So here the correct answer is would have taken. The games master would have taken more time on the pitch if he could have. Alright. Here we are talking about a certain prediction in the sense like, he would have taken more time. This is sort of predicting. So we use would in that scenario. Okay, the next one says, the house dash already dash before the team came in to flatten it. The house has already fallen down. The house was already falling down. The house is going to already fall down, or the house will have already been fallen down before the team came in to flatten it. Here the correct answer is B. The house was already falling down before the team came in to flatten it. Because you see, we're talking about the past tense, like before the team came in to flatten it. So that this action was happening before this team came. So this was the first action that happened. So the house was already falling down. All right, B. Okay, here the curtains need some kind of dash because they look very plain. Some kind of seamstress, some kind of rail, some kind of accessory, or some kind of fabric. Here the correct answer is C. The curtains need some kind of accessory because they look very plain. Accessory are the things that we use to beautify. That's accessory. All right. We have seamstress. Seamstress is a person in we use it in female. It's a person who does sewing. Okay. Then we have rail. Rail, I think in the curtain sense we're referring to that rod on which these curtains hang. Then we have fabric is the cloth. Okay. Okay, here we have the river has dashed so much you can barely see it. The options are reconnoitered, B revised, C revamped, or D receded. Now here the river has dashed so much. Okay, here the correct answer is D, receded so much. Receding something means it has lessened so much. You know, it has gone back, sort of thing. Then we have reconnoitered. This is a verb, it's in the past tense. Okay. The verb actually is reconnoiter. It means make sort of a military observation of some region. Then we have here revised and revamped. Revamped actually building of something again. Okay. Alright, here we have next. The painting really does dash the thoughts of the painter. A. Does put by the thoughts of the painter. Does embody the thoughts of the painter. Does dream the thoughts of the painter. Or does embody the thoughts of the painter. So here the correct answer is does embody the thoughts of the painter. Embody the thoughts of the painter, which means express it. Alright. Put, by, dream, dwell are pretty easy words to understand for students of class 7th, I hope. Okay, next. This new style of music is a real dash from the older songs. Is a real departure, is a real beginning, or is a real banal, or is a real pitfall. So here the correct answer is a real departure from their older songs. Departure, to depart from something means like to move away from something. So it is a new real departure from their older songs. Okay, beginning means start, and here we have banal. Banal means something that lacks in originality and is boring, we can say. Okay, then we have pitfall. Pitfall is actually a problem, I can say. Okay, we are facing certain pitfalls, which means facing certain issues or problems. Okay, here we have for questions 25 and 26, choose the correct synonym of the given word. We have to choose the synonym. What does synonym mean? The words which have similar meanings, right? So here we have the word radical. The options are safe, interesting, sweeping, and old-fashioned. The word which means similar to radical is C, sweeping. So radical means something we can say who is very strong in their political social support or otherwise. Then we have sweeping, something that is done in a wide range and wide effect. Okay. Then the others we have safe, interesting, old-fashioned, pretty easy to understand. Alright, here we have repute. We have to choose the synonym. The options are desire, removal, character, or prepared. Here repute is a noun actually, which we can say means reputation, image of someone, and it is similar to character. Okay. So the synonyms are these. Alright, now here for questions 27 and 28, choose the correct antonym of the given word. The word is startle. The other options are enthuse, subdue, reduce, or promote. Now here startle actually means starting something like very suddenly. When something startles you, it kind of shocks you suddenly. Okay. And then its antonym can be said to be subdue, which means overcoming something or like quietening something. All right. Then enthuse, we can say bringing in enthusiasm. Then we have reduce, decreasing something, promote, encouraging something to happen. All right. Alright, next we have fend. Here the options are A. Reduce, B. Halt, C. Demonstrate, or D. Encourage. So here fend kind of means we can say discouraging something from happening, right? So the antonym can be, we can say encourage, right? The other words like reduce and halt, they can be said to be synonyms in in one sense. They are words with similar meanings, not the exact same meaning, but they are the words with similar meanings. You have to be very careful about that, because in all the situations you cannot replace reduce with halt. It varies from situation to situation. Okay, demonstrate means showing something, giving a demo of something. Okay, here we have what is the spelling of the word that means vividly colorful. Okay, here first we have to do one word substitution and then we have to choose the correct spelling. So here the word which means vividly colorful, is fluorescent. And here the correct spelling of fluorescent is this. A. Fluorescent. Alright. Okay, here we have what is the spelling of the word that means to have a complaint. Here the options are grievance. Okay, so the word which means to have a complaint is grievance, and the correct spelling of grievance is, according to these options, it is supposed to be C. Grievance. Yes. So many students get confused between IE and EI when I had to think for a second. But however, the correct answer is IE. Alright. Alright, so now we move to the next section of reading. Here we'll be first reading the passage and then moving to its questions. Okay, let's start. Okay, so now we are going to start with this passage. We'll read it through and then we'll solve its questions. So here you see, in January, while exploring the white sands of the beachside dunes just north of Western Australia's Wedge Island, Tonya Illman came across an interesting bottle. Little did she know that inside the glass container lay an invaluable treasure. A 131-year-old note, a 131-year-old note the oldest message in a bottle discovered to date. So what has happened here is that there's this girl, Tonya Elman, who was just walking around a beach, and she came across a bottle, and this bottle has this 131-year-old note, which is the oldest message in a bottle discovered to date. Let's see then. Tanya, who is still shaking with excitement at her lucky find, says, I picked the bottle up thinking it might look nice on display in my home. When she peered inside the lidless bottle, she noticed it contained something. Curious, she turned it upside down and out came a damp, neatly rolled piece of paper that had been carefully tied with some string. To avoid damaging it, Tonya took the wet scroll home and placed it in the cooker to dry for a few minutes before carefully unfurling it. So now here Tanya has found this bottle, but she did not have this intention of finding something ancient, right? She just thought this bottle might, look good in my home's display. But when she saw inside the bottle, she peered inside it and she saw that there was this neatly rolled up paper which she took out and then took home to, first let it dry and then she'll read through it. Tanya's husband said, the first thing that caught my eye was the year 18 something. Though initially unsure of finding something this old so easily, things changed as he continued reading. It began with some coordinates and the word Ola. So now Tanya's husband is also involved. What happens is the thing where he also starts reading, and the thing that catches his eye as well is the year, and the year is 1800 something. But although they were a little unsure and hesitant that is all this true, is all this even authentic, but they began reading and they had this word which was written as Ola. So next, wondering if they had stumbled upon a genuine ancient artifact, the Illmans took the note to a curator at the Western Australian Museum. So to verify their findings, they went to this Western Australian Museum to curator. Within a day, he called back to let them know that he had been able to locate a 19th century German ship named Paula in the Lloyd's Register, which maintains a list of merchant ships all the way back to the mid-18th century. Even more exciting was that experts in Germany were able to track down Paula's logbooks and find an entry by a captain or deckman, which confirmed that the bottle had been tossed overboard on June 12, 1886, the date on the message. The sailor had also listed the coordinates of the ship's location, which matched the ones on the note. The ultimate proof of the note's authenticity was the logbook's neat script, which paired perfectly with that of the handwritten message. So they were wondering if all this is true, and all this was verified with whom? With this Western Australian Museum and the Lloyd's Register, that they found this ship Paula and this captain, their handwriting matched and everything. Okay. Then the curator believed the note remained intact because it was encased in a durable bottle with a narrow opening which allowed little moisture to seep inside even after the lid came off. The expert speculates it most likely washed ashore within 12 months after being tossed and remained buried in the thick sand until it was brought to the surface by the upheaval caused by a recent cyclone. So in the final stanza, the final paragraph, they tell us about their theory as to why it has, remained intact till now. The curator believes that it was encased in a durable bottle. Okay, first of all. Then this bottle had a narrow opening. So because of it, only little moisture could go inside. Even after the lid came off, only little moisture could go inside because the opening was very narrow. And then they also speculate that this probably, when this bottle was thrown in the sea, it was probably washed ashore, which means it reached the land area within 12 months after being tossed. But since then it had remained buried in the thick sand. It was buried in thick sand until now. And now how did it come to the surface? By the recent cyclone. Alright, so this was the story of that little message in a bottle. Now let's solve its questions. Okay, here we have choose the best title or heading for the passage. Message in a bottle, ship found at sea, Germany, German captain speaks to Australians, or history repeats itself. This one's pretty easy because it is all around the message in a bottle. So we can say message in a bottle. Okay. How was the note dried? In a museum, on the beach, in the car, in the cooker. So here you know, Tanya took the wet scroll home, placed it in the cooker to dry. So D, in the cooker. Okay, here what was the name of the vessel? Ilman, Tonya, Paula, or the curator? Let's see, where was it? They found the word Ola, and they had found a German ship named Paula in the Lloyd's Register. So the answer is C, Paula. Okay, so what was the final piece of proof? The museum staff, logbook, picture, name of the boat. Okay, the final piece of proof was here you see. It was the Lloyd's Register and then list of the merchant ships. Paula's logbooks. They found an entry by Captain O'Dickman which confirmed that the bottle had been tossed overboard. Right? So, what the final piece of proof was the logbook. What does the word upheaval mean in the final paragraph? Here we have upheaval. It means harmony, turmoil, reduction or selection. It means turmoil, certain damage. A cyclone का सब कुछ तबाही सी हो जाती है, right? That is turmoil, right? Alright, here we have another paragraph. Let's read through this. Though the harmful effects of plastic on wildlife and human health are well documented, the versatile material is hard to avoid. Nearly everything we touch, from shopping bags to drinks bottles to food packaging, contains plastic. So now we're talking about the harmful effects of plastic, but also saying this, universal nature of plastic. So almost everything around us is made of plastic. Now, Amsterdam's Eco Plaza supermarket is making it a little easier for consumers to reduce consumption of single-use bags and containers, which are clogging our landfills at alarming rate. With a dedicated plastic-free aisle, believed to be the world's first, it features 700 products including rice, beans, yogurt, chocolate, milk, cereal, snacks and even meat. So here what are they talking about as a solution, as the next thing that's happening is the Amsterdam's Eco Plaza supermarket, which has a plastic-free aisle of all these about 700 products. Then while items still require packaging, everything is housed inside reusable or recyclable containers made of glass, metal, cardboard and a compostable plastic resembling biofilm material. The unique idea was proposed to the grocery chain's officials by UK-based environmental group A, Plastic Planet, which is leading on the charge to advocate for at least one plastic-free aisle in supermarkets around the globe. So what are they saying is that products still require packaging, etc. So all this is done with reusable and recyclable containers. And we also have this information that this idea was proposed by this UK-based environmental group, which is a Plastic Planet. Now they are advocating for at least one plastic-free aisle in supermarkets around the world. So the non-profit has even created a signature plastic-free mark to help consumers identify eco-friendly packaging. This is a consumer-led campaign, said group co-founder Sian Sutherland, with grassroots organizations. So obviously we are working with industry and we are working with the government, but most importantly we represent the public. Okay. Next, Eco Plaza, which plans to roll out the plastic-free aisles across its 74 stores by the end of the year, is not the only company trying to reduce plastic waste. So here now we'll read probably about the other examples. Let's see. In Berlin, the original unverpacked grocery store has been trying to change consumer habits since 2014 by selling everything from grains to produce and even lotions and soaps in bulk. The supermarket, which requires customers to bring their own reusable containers, even carries chewable toothpaste that eliminates the need for a tube. Okay, so these are the new innovative ideas that have been happening. Though it is encouraging to see companies trying to make a difference, but for real change to happen, consumers have to lead the charge by shunning products encased in the polymer, even if it means giving up their favorite food or drink. As Sutherland succinctly puts it, plastic food and drink packaging remains useful for a matter of days, yet remains a destructive presence on the earth for centuries afterwards. So here they're saying that although change is happening, but there has to be a collective change with all the people, and all the products that are made with this polymer plastic, people have to take the initiative and start boycotting them. So all these plastic food and drink packaging, whatever it is there, that packaging only remains useful for a few days, but since it is non-recyclable, right, so it remains a destructive presence on the earth for centuries afterwards. Then we say, this is a small step, but it is a step in the right direction. Global levels of plastic in the seas, oceans, rivers and lakes terrifyingly high and presently on the rise. With more samples being taken around the world, the global scale of the blight of plastics is becoming clear. This is like a conclusion saying that all this is a small step, but this step needs to be taken in the right direction, because we need to counter the global levels of plastic, and everything is rising with like an exponential speed. Okay, so now let's move to the questions. Alright, here choose the best title or heading for the passage. Shopping locally is the best, plastic free shopping, Dutch create a new type of packing, or one shop starts a revolution. Here we can say, alright, now here you see you can choose any of the titles as per your choice, but we should choose a title that actually resonates with the theme, with the basic theme of the passage. So which I think is this one, plastic free shopping. So you don't really have to choose one which looks the most exciting, but you have to choose from one of the options which hits the core more appropriately. All right, that is the one which is going to be the correct answer. Okay. Right here, how many items can be bought without plastic? Here we had this thing that they were saying that they have introduced a plastic free aisle, right? And they have about, here they have 700 products. So how many items? D, 700. Okay, here, who is leading the push for non-plastic packaging? A German shop, a UK-based company, the public, or Dutch grocery? Okay, who is leading the push? We know that everyone represents the public. Okay, it's the public which has to lead the push for non-plastic packaging. Here, customers might have to give up their favorite product, only shop in one supermarket, or fight with industry to get what they want, or ask the government to help. Now here, as we said, that for real change to happen, consumers have to lead the charge by shunning products encased in the polymer, even if it means giving up their favorite food or drink. So the consumers might have to A, give up their favorite products. Alright. Okay, here we have what is the meaning of the word blight in the last paragraph? Curse, potato, joy, or usefulness. Here the global scale of blight of plastics is becoming clear. Okay, global scale of blight of plastics, it means curse. Right. Okay, so now we move to the next section, which is spoken and written expression. Here for questions 41 to 45, choose the most suitable option to complete each conversation. I'll say, come guys, let's get dash or we'll be late. Let's get on, let's get away, let's get going, or let's get off. Here the correct answer is, come on guys, let's get going, which means, let's hurry up. Okay. Harry says, there's no way I wouldn't dash to the party last night. I wouldn't have gone, or I wouldn't go. I wouldn't was going, or I wouldn't had gone. Here the correct answer is, I wouldn't have gone. Okay, would not have gone. This is the present perfect, would not have gone. All right. Son says, Dad, do you know what this is? Father replies, I haven't a clue. Dash, it's a type of fish. Impossible, it's a type of a fish. Maybe it's a type of a fish. Wonder, it's a type of fish. Or perhaps it's a type of fish. Here the correct answer is D. Perhaps it's a type of fish. We are expressing possibility here. Okay, guesses. Perhaps it's a type of fish. Edward says, "What is going on here?" Carl replies, "Good question. I haven't dashed it out yet. Guessed it out yet, figured it out yet, dawned it out yet, or seen it out yet." So here the correct answer is B. I haven't figured it out yet, right? Which means he hasn't solved it out yet. Marley says, "I would like to dash to see the sea from my room. I would like to have been able. I would like to have been. I would like to have. I would like to had been." Here the correct answer is I would like to have been able to see the sea from my room. Here you see, here you have to and here you have to, which sort of gives you a hint that here we'll have another verb and that verb is able. Have been able to see the sea from my room. We have would. This is sort of a possibility that we are talking about. Okay. Alright, now we have the final achievers section. These are going to be 5 questions which will be HOTS based. So your time starts. Okay, here it is difficult to understand the impact of this weather. Dash, it seems to be quite positive. Developmentally, it seems to be quite positive. Inconsequential, it seems to be quite positive. Nevertheless, it seems to be quite positive. Or D, contrary, it seems to be quite positive. Okay, here the answer is C, nevertheless. Why nevertheless? Because see, the first statement we are saying different, which is it is difficult to understand the impact of this weather. Okay, so we are talking about something negative. But we are saying that, notwithstanding this negative statement, which means if you keep aside this negative statement, it, seems to be quite positive. So nevertheless means notwithstanding something, it seems to be quite positive. All right. Next we say, the ship could never have been found without a good dash of luck. Without a good deal of luck, without a good dealing of luck, without a good dealt of luck, or without good being dealt of luck. Here the correct answer is a pretty easy deal. Why? Because we have to fill in a noun here. The ship the ship could never have been found without a good dash of luck. Here it's pretty easy. We have to fill in a noun. And what is the noun here? Without a good deal of luck. Others you see, dealing is verb ing form, dealt is the V2, V3 form, being dealt is again is a verb form. All these are different forms in the tenses. The only noun is here deal. Okay. Alright, next, choose the correct antonym of the given word. Here the word given is jostle. The options are A. Play, B. Repress, C. Enjoy, or D. Nudge. So here we have to choose the antonym. Okay, antonym is the word which means opposite. Now jostle actually means, bumping against someone, or like, pushing, and you put in an elbow, like where there's a lot of crowd, a lot of pushing and elbowing. That is actually called jostling. Okay, so the antonym of jostle can be here repress. Repress actually means, preventing something from happening, suppressing something. Okay, so this is the antonym, the words which mean the opposite. Alright, next, here we have to choose the correct synonym of the given word. The word is hermetical. The options are wrenching, bilious, esoteric, or edible. Here we have to choose the synonym. Synonym means the word which mean the same, or rather the words which have similar meanings. So here hermetical actually means something which is, isolated and not really influenced by others. Okay, and so word with similar meaning here could be esoteric. Esoteric refers to something which, it's again an adjective, something which can be understood by people only with a specialized knowledge or interest. Okay, so hermetical and esoteric, these could be synonyms. The other words we have here like wrenching, like heart-wrenching or something like that. We can say that it is something which is very stressful. Then we have bilious. Bilious is actually, if we use for a person, we can say that person is bad-tempered. Okay. If we can also be violent. Edible, something that is eatable. Okay. Okay, here what's the Paul says. Okay, sorry, what we have to do in this question is choose the most suitable option to complete the conversation. Here Paul says, what's the worst that can happen? Wear a shoe dash for the win this time. So you have to fill in with the shoe. Shoe at, shoe on, shoe up, or shoe in. Okay, now this might be a little tricky for you. I'm not sure if you know this, but when we have this word, let me tell you, shoe in. This is actually what do we call, maybe an idiom you can say, or we can use it as a one-word substitution. That shoe in actually refers to a person, or we refer, if there's someone who is bound to win something. Okay, there is no other choice. There are some people, right, for whom we say, ye to jeet hi jayega, ye to jeet hi jayegi, this award is hers, that prize is hers, this competition is theirs. So for them, we say shoe in, that there is shoe in, alright, which means kind of like they're bound to succeed. So that's when we use shoe in. So here the correct answer is this, D. We are a shoe in for the win this time. Alright. This was an interesting one. I hope this adds to your knowledge, and please use this in your conversation. It's going to make your conversations interesting, I can say. All right. So with this, we finish off with the sample paper, and of course all the classes and all the questions so far for class 7th IEO.
So that's all for the sample paper. I hope you have scored well, and even if you haven't, make sure whatever mistakes you made, you go back and rectify them, analyze them, and if there was any conceptual error, make sure you go back and revise that concept. Alright, so that's all from my side. I hope you do well. All the best for the exam, and in general, thank you for watching.